Hello geometry students. Today's learning target is to solve problems that involve special right triangles and the Pythagorean theorem. If you look at problem number 1, a carpenter leans the top of a 24-foot ladder against the top of a building. The base of the ladder is 6 feet from the wall. How high will the ladder reach? So I'm going to draw a diagram. And I'm going to draw a right triangle. The carpenter leans the top of a 24-foot ladder, so this yellow side is the ladder, and that side is 24 feet. And then the second sentence says the base of the ladder is 6 feet from the wall. So this is the wall, and the ladder is 6 feet from the wall, so the bottom piece is 6. And the question is, how high will the ladder reach? So the x is going to be the vertical side. And we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 6 squared is equal to 24 squared. So x squared plus 36 is equal to 576. I'll subtract 36 from both sides. So x squared is 540. Then to solve that equation, we're going to take the square root of both sides. So x is the square root of 540, and that is approximately 23.24 feet. So the ladder that is 24 feet will reach about 23.25 feet or 24 feet. If we look at problem number 2, a roofer leans a ladder against the wall. The ladder reaches the second story that is 22 feet high. The base of the ladder is 5 feet away from the, and this is a misprint, this should say wall. How long is the ladder that the roofer is using? So I'm going to draw another triangle. And the ladder reaches the second story that is 22 feet high. So the 22 feet is the vertical distance here. So this is going to be the 22. The blue sentence says the base of the ladder is 5.5 feet from the wall. So the blue side here is 5.5 feet. We want to know how long the ladder is that I highlighted in pink, so that's going to be the hypotenuse, or x. So the equation would be x squared is equal to 22 squared plus 5.5 squared. Maybe you're going to write 22 squared plus 5.5 squared is x squared. Both equations are correct. So I'm going to grab my calculator, and I will do 22 squared plus 5.5 squared. Doing that, I get 514.25. And then I need to take the square root of that answer, 514.25, and when I do that, I get around 22.68. So I'm going to write that down. So doing 22 squared plus 5.5 squared, we got 514.25. That was x squared. So x is the square root of that number. So x was around 22.68 feet. If we look at problem number 3, a football field is 120 yards by 53 yards. So that's a football field is a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to label 120 yards and 53 yards. And I know these are all right angles. Coach Barry runs diagonally across the field, so I'm trying to find this red line. I'll call it x. So again, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. 120 squared plus 53 squared is x squared. Typing that into my calculator, you're going to get 17,209 is x squared. So x is the square root of that value. And in applications, we typically get the decimal. So that's about 131.18 yards. Let's take a look at example number 4. A square with a perimeter of 40. So I'm going to draw a square. And we know all the angles are 90 and all the sides are equal. So if the perimeter is equal to 40, to find each side, we're going to take the perimeter and divide by 4 because each side is the same length, so we get 10. So that tells us all the sides are 10. Now our goal is to find the length of the diagonal. So I need this blue line that I just drew. Since that is a square, each angle is 45 degrees. And if we look at this yellow highlighted triangle, this is a 45, 45, 90. And then we know using the formula in a 45, 45, 90, x, x, x root 2, we know that the diagonal will be 10 square root of 2. And let's take a look at our last problem for the day. In example number 5, we again want to find the length of the diagonal of a square whose area is 49 square inches. So I'm going to draw a square again. We know that the area is 49 inches squared. The area of a rectangle is the side times the side, or side squared, is equal to 49. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. If it's a square, it's whatever the side is times itself is going to be 49. So to find the side, we'll take the square root of 49. So each side is 7. So now I know each side of the square is 7. The goal is to find the diagonal, which means I need to find this red line. Again, it cuts that angle in half, so this is 45, 45, 90, this yellow triangle. So to find the red line, we're again to use the 45, 45, 90 relationship. So the diagonal is going to be 7 square root of